These two grown men had never seen The Simpsons. How the fuck's that even happen? They're two grown men on a mission now, so buckle up and just strap in.
Meant to be a cheap fuck for me to lay. Something takes a part of me.
These two grown men had never seen The Simpsons. It's America's barley basket.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 54 of America's Barley Basket. I'm your host, Nathan Folsebuck, and sitting alongside me digitally is our friend and host, Marlin Wells.
Hello, Nathan.
Hello, Marlin.
How goes it today?
Typical Sunday. I'm in just a typical amount of pain that an average 40-year-old man's just in all the time. Both physical and mental.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I got my
Sunday
beverages.
vibes.
Yep. Wrapped in a quilt, sitting in a dark basement.
Well, boy, that's not a cry for help at all.
No, we did it. We did it.
We're living life out here.
They hate us because they ain't us. What up?
Jesus.
Some people can't fully embrace subterranean living. Well, their loss.
Yeah, they don't know what they're missing, Nathan.
And,
just more for you, bud.
Yep. If you haven't made friend with a centipede, have you ever really made a friend?
Apparently not.
On the basement friends note, the centipedes are back, but they are vastly outnumbered by the ants. We have an ant problem.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Ants are a little more in your face than the centipedes are. The centipede is the cat of the basement dwelling insects. The ant is the dog. It wants to get up in your business. It's happy.
Yeah.
And by happy, I mean bitey.
Boy, you've really carved out a little corner of life for yourself
I sure have.
over there.
Thank you for noticing.
Yeah, it's you really swinging for the fences here.
Yeah, I had a dinner of cottage cheese last night, which...
Oh, that a boy.
There you go. Yeah, probably should have had something else with that. Kind of round out, make it a real meal instead of just a sad divorced dad snack. But
fuck that. Anything is a meal if you eat enough of it.
That's true. Yeah.
I'll sit in my kitchen and eat a whole tub of fucking cottage cheese.
And I think this would make my mom happy. To this day, no matter how low on the totem pole of life I get, I still slop the food into a separate bowl and eat it from there. I've never been a right out of the carton guy. I think that'd make my mom happy.
All right, fancy man.
Yeah.
Not me. I'd fucking peel the top off of that cottage cheese container and just stand in the kitchen, eat it over the sink.
Just lying in bed with a sack of peaches, just spitting cores all over spitting pits all over the bedroom.
Why dirty a plate is my mantra that I live by.
I went to Walmart this week to pick up some groceries, and I was like, I'm going to treat myself to a nectarine. And goddamn it if I didn't watch someone buy the last of the nectarines.
Ah, shit.
God, that was close to as heartbreak as I've came in a while. I was so depressed by that because they don't always have them. And then when I saw that they had them, the guy in front of me took them all. And to his, I don't want to say like he bought a pickup box load of nectarines. He bought 10. He took the last 10.
That's a lot of fucking nectarines, though. That's more than you need.
He did have an army of children with him, so I think those nectarines were getting put to use.
A child can't appreciate a nectarine.
Yeah, give that kid a peach. That kid can. Nectarines, they're the Cadillac of that avenue of fruit.
Of the pitted fruits.
Yeah. Peach is a Buick. The kids can be happy with a Buick.
Yeah. Aim in the middle if you like and get them a plum. They don't need a nectarine.
I will fuck up a good plum too. Man, I enjoy a good plum.
Mm-hmm. Same here. Plum, I might put a plum above a nectarine depending on the day. I don't, because occasionally you'll get a real limp dick nectarine, but I've never had like a bad plum.
Yeah, I'm with Yeah, I think the highs are higher with a good nectarine, but I can see you get a lot more stability with a plum.
There's a little more structure to a plum. A nectarine, you bite into it, you got juice running down your chin. It's fucking falling apart.
Very sensual. Very sensual.
Yes, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah. the most erotic of the pitted fruits.
Yeah, it's a real fucking sex show over here when I'm eating a nectarine. Who wants to see me get the pit out with no hands?
Why are you at our apartment?
At least he brought his own nectarine. He didn't go for one of ours.
We only have 10.
Wish he'd put a shirt on.
It's either no shirt and pants or pants and no shirt. It's your choice.
Pick one, baby. You want me to fucking Winnie Pooh it through your kitchen, or
The no shirt or the shirt, no pants. That is a hell of a look.
it's really something.
Yeah. Well, there's a movie from the early 90s where Julianne Moore does that. And it's like off-putting just to see someone casually walking around like a person you do not know. Like, gee, man.
You and I got to go out last night and tell some goofs.
We sure did.
Hot damn, we had a good time last night.
It was a very good time. Shout out to the fine people of Reynolds, North Dakota for embracing us.
Yeah, told
Strangers from a strange land, but they didn't care.
Told a bunch of silly tales in a Knights of Columbus building, and that was a lot of fun. That was my first show back, and after the COVID, and it was a hot one.
Was it nice to have people's eyes all over your body again?
It was. It felt warm. I felt at home. It was it was a blast. Couldn't have asked for a better time last night as far as joke telling goes.
Well, look at that. Things are coming together.
With our friends Joe Christensen and Chase Rader and Josh DeLay, we had a whole crew.
Chase Rader, who also wrote our delightful intro music.
Yeah, the angel man of America's Barley Basket. So it was a good time, a lot of fun. So
we were given complimentary barbecue sauce.
We were given some barbecue sauce by a local barbecue magnate.
The perks of showbiz. Free condiments.
Getting paid in barbecue sauce.
Yeah. They said if we do better next time, we'll actually get real barbecue.
You guys want ribs, you got to bring it a little better than you did tonight.
Just got a heap of ribs in front of him. He's like, I don't think you guys are rib worthy yet.
Tell you what, you can have some sauce. Take the sauce with you.
You write some material that's more relatable, then we'll see if you boys will get yourself some ribs.
You guys start writing some barbecue related content and we'll talk.
Oh, bro. Apparently you forgot that I used to do probably a good 5 to 7 minutes of Rib Fest puns.
Oh, sure. Yes, I did. How did I forget that?
Holy shit, Rib Fest season's past. I haven't even done my rib puns yet.
Oh, you missed your rib set.
My seasonal comedy.
But no, that felt real good last night. So looking forward to telling jokes again, Nathan. God damn.
You're off. The training wheels are off. There's a free spirit. There's a glint in your eye.
Yeah, I was cherub-like.
Yep, that's the right word.
Yeah, still flying high. Felt good. So
it did.
Which thank fucking God. If the first show back would have been a train wreck, what a heartbreaker that would have been.
Yeah. You chose the right time to jump back into the race. That was a good night to start. They were a great crowd.
Yeah, they were hot. It's always a real crapshoot on whether or not these small towns are gonna care for you. But
goes to show, cannot judge a book by its cover, because that audience was older than average, I would say.
Yeah, I had my misgivings before the show started. I was like, these guys are not gonna like us, but the fuck do I know? Apparently,
by God, they brought it.
Yeah, they were. It was a good time. Good, the return of comedy. I'm very into. That's the return to stage. We've been bringing the hot comedy laughs for 54 straight weeks now by talking about The Simpsons.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Segway, baby.
Getting close to the end of season 12.
Yeah, wrapping up season 12 and dipping our dicks into 13 today. We're going to start off with episode 19 of season 12 called I'm Going to Praiseland. We start off at a church ice cream social where everyone's having ice cream at the church. I like the bit with Dr. Frink, who has outfitted a cow to dispense ice cream directly from the udders.
Yeah, I got a bovine-related question for you.
I'm the one. I'm the man for your bovine questions.
He kind of rattles off all the things he's done to make this cow more efficient. He mentions the 4 stomachs. Why do cows have more than one stomach?
I don't know the biological reasons for it. It's something about a different type of digestive system than a single. There's a word for a multi-stomached animal that I can't think of off the top of my head. But it's like, yeah, raw food goes into this one and is partially digested, and then goes to this one, and then is regurgitated somehow, and it takes a long road to the asshole in a way that we do not.
Yeah, just gonna say.
Yeah, I don't pretend to know the biological reasonings for it, but they do have 4 stomachs, so I mean that's accurate.
Okay, I was like, are they just showboating? Like, hey, look at me.
They're just dunking on you.
Yeah, you with your pitiful one stomach.
Yeah, I like that it's like one stomach is filled with rock salt and another's filled with Freon. Like, I got a good chuckle out of that, and then of course he like gets a swirl cone out of one of the udders. It was very funny. While at the ice cream social, we get entertainment, and it is Rachel Jordan, who's the Christian singer that Ned was into in an earlier episode. I think it's the episode when Maud dies.
Yep.
And if you'll remember that one, we left off at like, yeah, Ned likes her, but he's not ready to move on just yet. And so we get Rachel bumps into Ned. Well, Ned bumps into her because Homer pushes him. Like, Homer, the whole family, but Homer in particular, is very childish through all this. Real, like...
Oh, yeah.
Real, like, Ned's got a girlfriend kind of shit, which doesn't do much for me.
There is a good, some of Ned's protests were good. Like, at one point he goes, wait just a mod gone minute. That's okay. That's clever. That's clever.
I like that she has a plain vanilla cone, and he's like, oh, I see you like plain vanilla just like me. And she goes, no, the toppings were all gone. And it cuts to Bart and Milhouse, like, covered in syrups and toppings, laying against the tree with, like, their belts undone. And Milhouse goes, ants are crawling into my mouth, and I don't even care. Like, they've just completely glutted themselves on ice cream toppings.
Yeah.
Homer, Rachel mentions she's got to get to the hotel. Homer pushes for her to stay at Ned's house, which is a thing that I would think is weird if I were in this group conversation.
Yep, bold move.
Ned's like, yeah, come on over. And as she's walking through the house, it is creepy because every square inch of blank wall space has a photo of Maud in it. He shows her to the bedroom where he's preserved her indentation in the bed where she slept.
That's when it gets scary.
Yeah, by using spray starch, like keeping the sheet stiff.
When he puts on Maud's robe on her and gives that sleeve a good sniff, like, oh boy.
Yeah, it gets creepy really quickly. It culminates in its creepiness when Rachel wakes up in the middle of the night to realize that Ned is cutting her hair to look like Maud's. Ooh, boy. And she, of course, she's not going to stand for that and takes off running to the hills. It's the next day. The Simpsons are going to help Ned get rid of all Maud's stuff, which is a weird task to do for your neighbor, I guess. A weird task for him to allow the Simpsons to do. But he's got the boys loaded in the car, and they're like, have fun at the eye doctor. And he goes, I always do. Real chipper. Fucking, the fact that Ned is like into an optometrist visit is very funny.
Very, very much him.
Yeah. So they're getting rid of all of Maud's stuff, throwing out her clothes and whatnot, and at some point they realize this is too much work, so now they have a wood chipper in the bedroom, and they're just fucking destroying all of her shit. Yeah. Ned comes home to see all of Maud's stuff gone, and he's sad about it, but okay, I guess it had to be done. And the one item of hers that didn't get run through the chipper is her sketchbook, and Ned's flipping through it and finds all these drawings of Praiseland, a Christian-based amusement park that she had been doodling and designing, and Ned figures, well, this must have been the last thing she wanted to do, and everyone encourages Ned. He's going to build Praiseland, so it'll be a real thing just like Maud had wanted. I believe it's Bart who brings up, you could buy that old amusement, but I forget the name of it, like Storytime Village or something. Buy that. That's, been shut down for years, ever since that kid's head got cut off, is Bart's exact wording. Ned goes out there and meets with what's become a favorite character of mine who needs to show up more often, the Texas Oil Man, who owns shit around town.
Is he also the same guy that was going to buy the oldest tree in Springfield, make it into a drive-through humidor?
Yeah, he's the one from that episode, the Lisa Tree Hugger episode.
Yeah.
Which then also almost became an amusement park. He's got his fingers in a lot of amusement park business.
It's his fortes.
He is moved by Ned's sob story and gives him the park as a tax write-off. And they're fixing it up. Ned and the Simpsons, they're fixing this place up. And they have their grand opening, and everyone comes out. It's on the news. Kent Brockman's talking about it. Everyone's through the turnstiles, and it's kind of slowly revealed that this park is lame.
Yep.
There's a roller coaster that goes through King David's tomb, and this King David robot, this animatronic, stops them and reads all of the Psalms, and the kids can't get out of the roller coaster cart.
The Noah's Ark, is it jelly beans? And you're like, is it two of every flavor? It's like, nope, it's all plain.
Nope, it's plain. What does a plain jelly bean taste like?
Just gel, just like gelatin capsules.
Yeah, just gelatin, no flavoring at all.
At some point in this, I think it might be leading into the him getting the park, we find out that his full name is Nedward Flanders.
Yeah, not Edward. Ned is usually short for Edward, but not him. Nedward.
Nedward Flanders.
Amusing. I liked Ralphie's reaction. Something has to be real fucking bad if Ralphie isn't into it.
Yep.
He's at the souvenir shop, and he's got the Noah's Ark full of flavorless jelly beans, and Ned has that creepy Maud mask.
Yep.
And Ralphie just turns to Chief Wiggum's like, "Can I wait in the car?" He's like, "Yeah, let's both wait in the car." And they take off. Everyone is just filing out of this amusement park, this lame Christian amusement park. And Ned drops the plastic Maud mask, and then a miracle happens. It floats up into the air in front of the Maud statue, which, by the way, the inscription on the Maud statue that says, "Thank you, Maud, for showing us the shame in joy and the joy in shame," was very funny.
Yep.
And so the mask is kind of levitating, and people are like, "It's a miracle!" And I believe it's Skinner like comes forward towards the statue and collapses and starts speaking in tongues. And when he comes to, he tells of this vision of heaven he saw of this amazing, immaculate school with the teacher's lounge extended as far as the eye can see. I like that's his vision of heaven. Yeah. And so now the whole town is like praising this mod statue, like rushing ahead to get their own visions. And Ned is kind of pushed to exploit this for some cash. They end up selling Ned on that idea by saying, well, you can donate it to the orphanage. And I love whenever we get to see the orphans on this show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just the ragged Dickensian orphans.
Yeah. They all talk like this, like, Mr. Flanders. Just the cutest speech impediments.
Oh, it's way more off-putting when you do it.
Oh, I'm going to start doing that a lot then.
Oh, perfect. That's my own fucking
Marlin,
fault.
Can we go get ice cream, Marlin? I'm ever so hungry. Hungry for ice cream, Marlin.
Oh, this is a real short episode. Thanks, everybody.
Hey, thank you, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in to the last episode of America's Barley Basket.
We got to go get ice cream. We'll be back next week.
And then right here, there's going to be just a long silence and then a gunshot. And that's
just it could be like an Atlanta Braves rain delay where we just have like the audio of Three Stooges shorts playing on a loop until we come back and finish this.
Oh, shit.
Talking about those hallucinations, I wish we could have seen Edna Krabappels, but I got a hunch. Not safe for TV.
Yeah, because now that they've encouraged Ned to be like, yeah, make this an attraction and charge extra money to give to the orphanage. Now there's just a line of people getting their heavenly visions. I don't really care about Disco Stew, but his vision was funny simply for the fact that he's, fucking dancing, doing all this Disco Stew shit. And then Frank Sinatra is there, and Stew seems confused, but then Sinatra explains, this is hell for me. And that's Frank Sinatra's punishment, is to be surrounded by disco for all eternity.
Yeah. I also like, too, when he's having that hallucination, they're cleaning up the park and they're sweeping Disco Stew up in the trash.
Yeah, they just sweep him away like, okay, who's next? And then I believe it's Homer is off to the side running some manner of food booth, and he can't get the grill to light. It turns out that's because there's a leak in the gas line right at the base of the statue. So that's what made the mask float, and that's what's making everyone just fucking hallucinate at the mod statue.
And as someone that has had a run-in with a gas leak, mine was a exhaust leak, I did not have any hallucinations. I was just very, very messed up.
Just in your exhaust somewhere that would
no,
fill
it was
the cab
a house,
of the car?
A house me and my buddies rented, where they all had normal jobs, so they went to bed at a normal time, and I stayed up late to watch the replay of Nitro Wrestling.
Worthwhile.
Yep. And I was just drinking some beers like I normally do. It was probably 2 a.m. All of a sudden, I had a headache, but a different headache that I'd ever felt before in the back of my skull. It's like, if I was one to own aspirin, I'd just take a couple, but I don't because I'm 18, so I'll just power through it with more beer. And by the time I went to bed, every time my heart beat, the back of my head hurt a little bit.
Oh, fun.
Which should have been a loud warning sign that my body was. I was like, I'll sleep it off. And I went to bed about 4. I wake up at 6:30 to someone pounding on my door, and I'm angry because why are you doing this? I don't wake up at this time. I remember thinking this had better be good. And it was my roommate that's like, are you feeling all right? I'm like, dude, go back to bed. And he's like, knock, knock. Are you feeling? I'm like, please just go back. I don't know how drunk you are. You've been sniffing glue. What's going on right now? Like, I am not ready to party. And then he did it a third time. And I got up and I was mad. Like, I sat up and then I stood up and immediately collapsed. It was something about the standing up must have made my blood. So and then I struggled. I was like, I am not feeling all right. So we are like two zombies stumbling. We tried to get our third roommate up, and he's finally getting. He's like, I'm messed up. Like, we're all messed up, and if it was like a ranch style house, so there was like a couch that was across the center of the living room, but there was 6 feet of room on each side of that couch to go around. It was like we were playing the hardest game of Tetris ever to figure out how to get out of that living room. We just and we finally did. Then you had to go through the kitchen, and then we all walked right on. We walked out the door, and all Three Stooges style face planted off the edge of the side of the walkway. Like we had like a little cement, like a 3-foot drop. We just all face planted in the snow. And I don't know if one of us made a call, but I know the neighbors called the cops on us because they witnessed this. And I think for them, it was like, okay, this is the last straw. They're drunk at 6 a.m. I've had enough of this. And luckily, my roommate's mom, the dad was the sheriff, but she was, they lived right by the courthouse. So she had a scanner and she overheard the call. So she came to pick us up like in the family minivan. And I think she was mad right away, thinking we were just partying. And then she realized, because she said I got in the front and I kept saying, like, ma'am, could I roll the window? I want to sit by the window, please. I literally had my cheek resting on the window. She's like, you're on the window, honey. You're on the window. I just want to be by the window.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude, it was nuts. And probably within 90 minutes or so of being out in normal air, we were fine. We were fine. They just had to take our blood and stuff. And maybe, I probably wouldn't want to run a marathon that day, but I wasn't like, and they told us, the fire department came and checked it out. We would have been dead by 10 a.m. They figured.
Jesus Christ.
It was just this weird 1 in a million thing where one of my roommates, which it's suspect that they are teenagers and they use Downy dryer sheets. Who thinks of that at that age? Good for them. That's high level. But one of the dryer sheets somehow got sucked into the exhaust of the dryer, which plugged the exhaust for the furnace too. So that dryer sheet was stopping all the carbon monoxide was building up. And that's what I was feeling. It was dead of winter too, so our furnace was going nonstop, And that's why, like, it started that night. It gets cold that night, so the furnace really kicked on, and that's when the house started filling up, and that's why my head started hurting so damn bad.
Well, now I can't now I got to throw all my dryer sheets away because now I'm convinced I'm going to die in this apartment.
I don't even dry my clothes anymore. Can't risk it. Wear them wet, baby.
Get a clothesline. Go back to the clothesline days.
Listen to this. This is how close it was from none of us living through this. Is my one roommate, I think he had to work at like 7:30 or something. So he woke up at like 6:45, wakes up feeling like absolute shit. I can't believe he even got up. Like, he's like, oh man, I must have the flu or something. Like, I'm going to take a shower. And then I'll do that and then see how I feel. And he like knelt down by the tub and was like turning the knobs and stuff. And he got woozy and he passed out. So he passed out. That's how carbon monoxide poisoned he was. But just 1 in a million, his palm covered the drain of the tub, and the tub filled with water, and his head was hanging over the edge. And eventually he started drowning in the water. That's how full the tub got. And that brought him to. So he's just, like, what just happened? And that's when he realized, holy shit, something is seriously wrong. And that's when he trotted over. And he talked about, too, it was like getting off the floor of the bathroom felt like the most monumental task you could do. Like, that's when he trotted over to my room and pounded on the door. Like,
holy shit.
yeah.
That's like, Near-death stories are usually exciting. That one is not, but it's just like, so you take out the excitement and so you're left with just the dread of, boy, that was fucking close, boys.
Yeah. Like, we were the biggest claim to fame I've ever had. I was briefly on the North Dakota AM radio news, like the top of the hour local news. Like 3 local Botno young men just narrowly avoided tragedy today. I was like, and I remember we felt woozy enough, or our bosses told us not to go into work, so we just day drank. I remember hearing when it came on the radio.
You were fine.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty wild, yeah.
Man, we almost died. Let's day drink since we all got the day off.
To be 19 again.
Frankly, at 19, that's probably what I'd have done too.
Yeah.
Because at 19, you still have that indestructible mentality, like, oh, jeez, that was close anyway.
It didn't even cross our mind that we could have any. And I remember they had to take blood from us. And I think they call it rolling veins, where it's tough. My veins are tough to stab.
Oh, yeah, they kind of float around, yeah.
And they had like the junior varsity nurses in, and she jabbed each of my arms. I think it was 5 times each. And she was just digging. I'm like, ma'am, can you, is there anyone else? And I don't like to get needles shoved into me, but I don't have a phobia. But I'm like, it was starting to hurt. And then she's like, okay, I'm going to find somebody else. Then this dude in street clothes comes in. Is he like the janitor? Is he like the maintenance guy? And he starts horsing around in my arms with the needle. I'm like, and then finally the nurse is just like, how are you feeling? I'm like, well, okay. She's like, I think you're good. And that was it. No blood was taken.
Jesus Christ. This fucking backwoods Mickey Mouse hospital.
Like, we're just good here. Like, I think we're good too. Like, now I just look like I have a very serious intravenous drug problem.
Should have just gone to the vet.
Yeah. Yeah, no shit.
Well, I'm glad you're alive, man.
We did it. We're holding on.
Ned is torn about whether or not to tell the people the truth about the gas leak, because it's like he even calls the gas company like, how poisonous is your gas?
That is a good. It's worse outside? How is that even possible?
Like permanent brain damage or just temporary? You just get his side of the phone call. He's torn because it's bringing in all this money for the orphanage. We get the orphans again being like, is everything okay with the miracle? Like, and so Ned is torn on this, but the decision to break the silence on the gas leak is kind of made for him when he and Homer look over and the orphans are lighting candles by the statue. So they go running over and fucking tackle the orphans. Just spear the orphans out of their boots. Injuring them for sure. One is like, I taste blood, which I thought was pretty funny. Now Praise Land is closed. Word is out about the gas and the orphan tackling, and so Praise Land is shut down. And that's when Rachel shows back up with new hair. She points out that it's a wig, and we're not going to talk about that ever again. And Ned's like, well, maybe we can talk about it over coffee if you'll give me another shot. And she does, and that's that. They go back to his place and unrumple the sheets in the bed to take Maud's indentation out of it. So maybe Ned's moving on.
Kind of a nice ending, a wholesome Simpsons ending.
That was a good wholesome ending. That was a good episode too, all around.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, I was into it.
And on that theme, episode 20, Children of a Lesser Clod, I loved this episode. I don't know what it was about it. Well, I do know. I just thought there was a lot of good little jokes in it.
Mm-hmm. This is a good one. I was into this one as well.
Yep. And I don't think it even starts off super great. Like, it starts kind of like there's like a free weekend, like YMCA, where everyone can try out the local YMCA and all the classes they offer. And there's a lot of just little quick, comedy things with each person trying a different thing. Like Bart gets tricked into going into like an etiquette class and stuff. And
the old man basketball class with Abe and Burns with the peach basket. Like that was funny. Yeah, a lot of this little kind of thing. And I wrote down, is this what the YMCA is? I don't have a clue what the YMCA does.
And like I didn't, and they make it seem like it's a known thing that people go to the free trials but never get memberships. I'm like, I know countless people that have a YMCA membership.
Everyone who I know who has one just treats it like a gym. I didn't know there was this whole other component of like taking classes, or maybe that's not the case anymore. Who knows?
Yeah, I wonder.
I thought it was. I was like, is this what YMCA is? I guess I don't know anything about the YMCA other than
I'm with
the
you.
song.
I thought, like it's like, and I guess but I guess like gyms they offer classes too. Like, but it's like it's like Zumba or spin class. Like,
right.
I guess maybe since the Y has more facilities, maybe they do offer like elderly men basketball leagues and stuff like etiquette classes and things. Maybe, I guess.
Which, by the way, if they have elderly men's basketball squads, can we go watch a game? I would watch the shit out of that. Just these fucking dusty old fogies shooting hoops. I'd watch that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Bring some popcorn and a beer. Just, get them.
I bet at some point when you get old enough, like, I bet like 75-year-old basketball playing resembles like 7-year-old basketball playing. Where like everyone's uncoordinated and just like it's endless missed shots and it's just an endless scramble for the ball. Like
everyone's like strength has depleted with their age, so they're all shooting from the chest. Like it's all those kind of shots being taken. It sounds entertaining to me.
Yeah, they don't have the coordination, so rebounds just get bounced around. Like no one has the coordination just to grab it out of the air anymore.
Yeah, they just chase it for a while.
Yeah. I hope there's a 75-year-old man listening to this who's like punching his fist into his hand, just waiting to meet me in person.
Listen, you fucking kids. Oh, he'd probably outplay me.
Yeah. If he has any kind of cardio, he could beat me full court. But I don't know. Last summer, I had my mid-range jumper looking pretty crisp. I'll tell you.
I never played basketball in any kind of like team outside of like recess when you're a fucking kid. But I love to just stand around and shoot hoops.
There's something, I don't know what it is, therapeutic about it.
Play some horse. I'll play horse.
No. I got a hoop here. I should be shooting baskets.
You have a hoop and you're not using it? Come on.
Just realize that.
Get out of that basement. What are you doing?
My jumper is getting rustier as the days go on.
Mm-hmm. If you expect to be drafted next year, you best start working on the fundamentals right now.
I don't want to be a pessimist. I feel like I'm getting close to the end of my viable NBA timeline, too.
Not with that attitude. Yeah. Come on. God damn it, Nathan.
Yeah. Can I still get a scholarship?
How am I the motivational speaker among the two of us? I'll start training you. I'll get myself a tracksuit and a whistle, and we'll start running drills.
Holy shit, that would be great. Like, in our heads, it's like this inspirational montage, but to anyone watching, it's just horrifying.
Yeah. Oh, those boys should sit down.
They need to lie down, get out of the sun. Please tell me they're drinking enough water.
They just keep playing the Rocky soundtrack thinking that's going to help. You just shooting free throws to Gonna Fly Now.
Yeah. It's on a cassette, so we just got to flip sides. We have it timed out perfectly.
Oh, shit. I also like during this sequence of gags at the YMCA that we get a motherfucking Flubber reference, which is not a film I've thought about in probably 20 years.
Yeah. You probably would have been about the right age for that, I bet.
I was the perfect age for Flubber. I've seen Flubber probably 10 times.
So I was a surly teen by the time that came out.
You were too cool for the Flubber.
Yep, too cool for Flubber. I don't want to break.
Too hardcore.
Yeah. But like the main thing at the YMCA is what kind of drives the plot of the episode is Homer gets in like an intramural basketball game, and it starts with some just cringy like Homer and Carl and not like even offensive cringy, just like so unfunny cringy. Like it's like, oh, you guys. I mean, maybe at the time but now it just seems so hackneyed. It's like, oh, like anytime Homer tries to talk like he's black, and I get that's kind of what they're going for, but none of it was funny. I don't know, like.
Yeah, it's a lot of Homer doing like, you the man, like it's yeah.
And then what kind of drives the episode? Poor Homer tears the old ACL, which is common. Blows out that ACL, them ligaments. Not meant for a man that size to be playing basketball.
I immediately thought of Tom Segura, who fucked his knee all to hell here not too long ago. And just in the worst luck ever, breaks his arm. Yep, comes down on his arm and breaks it.
When you watch that video, that's the part that just makes me cringe, is how he falls on that arm and messes it up so bad.
Yeah, that's a tough video to watch, but he's on the mend apparently. He's fine. Yeah,
good for him. That guy looked bad, yeah. But so Homer is now, and also he's Dr. Hibbert explains that he's going to have to stay at home and this and that. And the morphine jokes, they were a little more fun-loving in 2001 before the country was racked with an opioid addiction problem.
Yeah, not a lot of chuckles in the age of the opiates that we're in.
So Homer is kind of bummed that he's going to be stuck at home while he's recouping, and he tries to fill his boredom. He's like, hey, I'll hang out with the kids. It's like, well, we got to go to school, and everyone else has got to do stuff. And I do like the scene where where Barney shows up, kind of like nervous and cleaned up a little bit. And he's like, can Homer come out and play? And Marge is like, no, he needs to stay inside. And he's like, well, can you make me some Jell-O? And she like shoos him away. Like,
yeah, you get out of here, Barney Gumble.
I feel like Marge would make him Jell-O.
I think so too. Yep, I thought the same thing. Yeah. I love that scene though of Homer just longfully looking out the window, and like Lenny goes by chasing a bike rim with a stick, and then Carl's on a pogo stick just going like boing, boing, boing down the street. It's funny.
And so Homer is just kind of bored. He's doing all sorts of stuff, trying to kind of kill the boredom, including attempting to get the dog and cat to fuck.
Yep, puts them in a bag and ties them shut.
and like some kind of perverse, like it's kind of like for science. Like I don't think he was getting anything out of it. He was more wanted to see what could happen.
He just wanted to make a cat dog hybrid. It's a little Dr. Moreau-y, but I love that his method is just throw them in a bag and puts on Let's Get It On the stereo.
Yeah.
Like, that's all it takes. Sure. Yeah. It's just confined space and classic R&B. And that's how it gets done.
And in kind of a twist of fate, there's a knock at the door, and it is Ned, who needs somebody to watch the boys, Rod and Todd, because he's going to go to a Christian rock concert. When we see the tickets, it's actually Chris Rock.
Yeah, I thought that was very funny.
This probably would have been at the peak of Chris Rock popularity around 2001. He was probably doing big arenas at this point.
Oh, for sure. Like this is May of 2001, so it was probably written 6 months before that. Yeah, this would have been right in Chris Rock's heyday.
Peak rock popularity.
I was never the biggest Chris Rock fan, but I really like that last one he put out. That Tambourine, I think, is the name of the special. That's super fucking good. He's not as like bombastic as those old specials, like Bigger and Blacker and all those. Like he still is to some extent because he's still fucking Chris Rock. But I don't know. It's like it's got a little more subdued, kind of honest tone to it. I would recommend Chris Rock's Tambourine.
Was it you telling me that Chris Rock kind of didn't develop that bombastic persona until he was quite a ways into doing stand-up.
No, it wasn't me. I didn't know that, I guess.
Someone was telling me maybe like in the end of the 80s, or like if you catch early TV appearances, like even I think he goes back to the very late 80s, that he's just talking in his normal speaking voice. He doesn't do the big over the top delivery like he's kind of got to be known for when he really popped in the late 90s, like. Which is like, I need to check some of that out.
Yeah, I would look for some of that old shit. His episode of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee is also very good. Just like talking shop with Jerry Seinfeld.
I know he talked about too that he never really felt like he fit in on SNL. Like, not as like saying that the cast didn't make him feel welcome. He's just like, I'm not a sketch comedy guy. I'm a stand-up comic. Like, yeah. And I kind of think that even like looking back, like they when they cast him, they're just like, well, he's so funny, but he just never was meant. Like, this is not the right avenue for him. Yeah, just not the right form. Sure. So Homer is visited by Ned, who talks him into watching Rod and Todd, and right away Homer seems skeptical, but he's bored, so whatever. And it turns out he kind of enjoys it because Rod and Todd are interested in Homer. Yeah. And, you know, Bart and Lisa have heard enough of Homer's boring stories, but Rod and Todd are all ears with those giant, unblinking eyes of theirs. They're a disconcerting pair of children, for sure. I like that they are eating jelly and candy sandwiches. Yep. Something I don't imagine they get in the Flanders household. And I don't know when we get it. At some point in this episode, we get a Hans Moleman appearance. And boy, we don't see him like we did during like the golden age of The Simpsons. I believe that's where's Marge? Oh, she had to go to the morgue to identify a body, which first off, what the fuck? And that's not my uncle. The mortician flips open the blanket and is just like, oh, she goes, yeah, that's not my uncle, and this man's not dead. And Hans Moleman's there going, that's what I've been telling you. and the mortician's like, that's just gas passing. He just closes him back in the tomb. Puts him right back in the fucking... Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, that was a good gag. Oh, Hans. We'll see him again in this batch. We do, yeah. So... they want to stay there again, the kids do, and then Ned's like, well, it's not like Homer's running a daycare, kids. He's like, well, what if I am? He's like, well, that'd be great. Well, are you? You'd like that, wouldn't you? It's such I would. Well, then I'll do it. That'll show you, Homer's weird spite. Yeah, I want to see the look on your face. He just gives him a big, nice smile. I love when Ned's positivity just can't be taken down by Homer. Yeah, can't be beat. So now Homer is running a daycare, and it catches on. I do like when Apu shows up. I'd like to take advantage of your baby prison. Is there anything medical I should know about? Probably. And Apu's already gone, running. That's like the old Simpsons that I miss. Just like there's tons of little gags that hit like that. Yeah, that was a good joke. And then, Ralphie is one of the ones that stays there. I think, kind of just a Millhouse is one of them. And they just love it because Homer's a good, not a good babysitter, but a fun babysitter. And there's that insane scene where Ralphie asks if he can touch Homer's knee wound. and Homer's like, sure. And he moves the bandage away. And Ralphie touches it, and the scab starts growing over his hand, and Ralphie's like, it's healing over my hand, and Homer just calmly goes, it knows you're afraid. So God gross. Damn it, did I die laughing. And they're so happy, and then they're singing that song, if you're happy and you know it, say a swear. I think it's like Nelson says something normal and some other kid says, and then Ralphie just excitedly shouts, mitten. Yeah. Yeah, it's Nelson and Millhouse. It's like, say a swear, boobs, hiney, mitten. Oh, hiney is one of them, yep. God damn it. Oh, and the whole time they're watching this is going on, Lisa and Bart are watching, and the resentment is building. And Lisa's like, how come parents are always nicer to other kids than they are their own? And Bart's like, well, they're taking it because they take us for granted. Yeah. There's a good scene too where they get that wrapped gift of like a framed picture of Homer and the kids, and they get it downstairs to the daycare area, and Homer gets it, he opens, oh, look at this. This would be a great frame for my daycare diploma.
Yep, and just throws the picture and puts his
picture,
daycare certificate in the frame and hangs it. Oh, shit.
So the episode builds. I mean, the daycare's a hit, and Homer is nominated to win. He's some kind of good guy award like this. They have a lot of award ceremonies in Springfield.
Yeah, they do. The good guy awards.
Yep, and like the first one that's up, I know like Ned is nominated for it, and a handful of the other good guys are, and then like Homer basically gets kind of like an impromptu award because he's so beloved, and everyone loves it. Everyone's applauding. And then Bart and Lisa, they finally get to deliver their rebuttal, and they get up there on stage, and they have made like a montage of home video footage. And oh my God, the one where Homer is chasing Bart with like a morning star is so great. It's like a chain with a big spiky ball at the end.
Yeah. Just like shouting, like, I'll mace you for this. Like,
or just like passed out drunk at the kitchen table. Just this great collection of footage.
Yeah, there's some real good, good bad Homer in those clips.
And the award show is hosted by Krusty, and there is a great little one-off where they're like, this award show is brought to you by Hanson's Hypno Coins. If you could find a sturdier Hypno Coin, buy it.
Yeah.
I fucking died, dude. I was like, that's like a golden age Simpsons joke right there. Hanson's Hypno Coins.
Fucking Hypno Coin sponsorship.
Oh my God, did I die. And then, so now the community is outraged. They see how big of a shitbag Homer is. And Homer and the kids attempt to run. It's like him and all of his kids, like a cult leader now. Him and all of his children run off.
Yeah, it's like a kidnapping all of a sudden.
Yeah. And the kids just love him, so they're in it with him. And he's running away, but like the community's following, and they got the chopper following him. And like he's trying to go under, but he's too fat. Now he's digging. He attempts to be burrowing.
He can't get over the fence. Yeah, that was real funny.
Oh my
God! The way the chase ends, and it's
now
all
he's
shot from the helicopter.
Yeah. Oh my.
Now he's in a pipe, and he can't fit, but his legs are kicking comically. Like, holy shit.
I laughed so much in this episode. It's like it reminded me of the olden times. Like,
and the kids are still in the paddy wagon while all this is happening. And Brockman's like, "What about the children, Arnie? I can't see through metal, Kent." Like, I like how much Arnie hates Kent.
Yeah, there is a definite saltiness there.
Yeah.
And then I think it kind of just wraps up with Homer realizing, hey, maybe I should pay more attention to my own kids, kind of like.
Yeah, it cuts like the thing says like 3 mistrials later, and he's just in the living room putting the photo in the frame and hanging it. You know, he learned his lesson. So I probably don't got to say it. You've heard me talk about it, but great episode. Yeah, I dug that one a lot. I also really like the last one of season 12, episode 21. Which is Simpsons Tall Tales. And I'll tell you, when I kind of got the vibe it was going to be one of these, like, multiple stories, I was skeptical. Yeah. I like the anthology episodes, be it the tree houses, or, like, I even kind of liked the Bible one they did not too terribly long ago. I enjoyed this one. This is definitely my favorite of the non-Treehouse anthology ones. Mm-hmm. I like, much like we talked about last week with their, like, weird Go Tarantino-esque episode, I like when they do something different. Yeah. You know, something clever. We start off in the airport, and I like that they just go, I can't believe we won another contest. The Simpsons are going to Delaware. Like, they just, fuck it. They won a contest to go to a city. Just whatever.
and they're like, and they have all these like canned lines, like what they're gonna. It's almost like the Delaware Tourism Foundation gave them some one-off lines. Like,
yeah, it's like the first 3 bullet points you find about Delaware that they're excited to see. They're at the front of the line with their tickets, and Homer refuses to pay the $5 fee that is attached, and so now they're running to catch up to a train because now they got to take a train like a hobo. And they hop in the train car, and sure as shit, there's a hobo who was voiced by Hank Azaria, but was apparently supposed to be voiced by Jim Carrey, but he had to back out because of scheduling. But there's a hobo in there, and I believe he disarms them a bit by saying, "I'm not a stabbing hobo, I'm a singing hobo." And, and he immediately picks up a banjo and starts singing a song about stabbing people.
Yep.
Which is a good joke.
Yep.
And he's gonna help them pass the time by telling them some tall tales. And this might be why I like this episode so much. I love like American folklore tall tales, like fucking Pecos Bill riding the tornado, and John Henry, and fucking Mighty Casey and Paul Bunyan. I love that shit.
Yeah, like I was trying to think, like, when did I didn't read about these on my own. I remember being taught this shit in school. I wonder, like, when do they shoehorn the American mythos characters, like the tall tales? Like, and I was little. I remember knowing about, hearing this like in like first or second grade. They just shoehorned it into history class or English class. Or
I fucking hope it's not shoehorned into history class.
Yeah.
But
I don't know
it
what
is
else
America and public school system.
Yeah. I'm sure they just play hot potato. That could have been a math class thing. It's like, we got to tell the kids about Johnny Appleseed. We haven't yet. Okay, I'll do it.
There was I pretty vividly remember, I think it was a Disney film, but there's a movie from like 95 with like Oliver Platt as Paul Bunyan and Patrick Swayze as Pecos Bill. It was like a kids movie about. It was like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen for American folklore. I remember liking it, but I was 10. What the fuck did I know? Maybe it's good, maybe it's not.
You have to give me a quick refresher on Mighty Casey. What was his story again?
Mighty Casey's the baseball player.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
yep.
Mighty
I thought
Casey
maybe there was another
out.
Casey. Yep. I mean, there's another Casey. I wasn't
the citizens
to.
of, is it Mudville?
Yep.
Yeah.
There's no joy in Mudville. Mighty Casey has struck out.
That's the one. And like John Henry's a great one about the guy versus the machine. Like, yeah, that's,
I don't know.
I like that
if
shit.
You've heard John Henry, he's a steel driving man.
Also, the inspiration for Steel, the character that would be played by Shaquille O'Neal.
In the award-winning film.
Yeah, I believe started off as one of the replacements for Superman after the death of Superman.
Because there was the Steel Superman, there was Superboy, there was the Superman who looks like he's wearing safety glasses. Then there was like the half robot, half Superman, and then there was
like a
fifth
cyborg
one.
Superman. Yeah.
So, yep. Then there was a fifth replacement Superman. I can't think of what his story was.
And then eventually Superman came back because no one stays dead in comics.
Nope.
Other than, like, I think Uncle Ben might be the only comic book character who's ever died for real.
For years, it was Bucky. They'll never bring back Bucky. Now Bucky's back.
It was Bucky and one of the Robins. Was it Jason Todd?
Jason Todd, yeah.
The one that the one that the Joker beat to death with a crowbar.
Yeah. That had to be pretty wild stuff when that came out. That was like in the 70s, wasn't it?
Oh, it wasn't that long, I don't think. What is that, Killing Joke? Is that the one?
No, I don't think Killing Joke is the death of Jason Todd.
A Death in the Family in 88.
Oh, it was okay. That makes more sense. Even for 88, that's to have a main character brutally cheesed. That'd be some pretty wild stuff.
Yeah. I had it mixed up. Killing Joke is the one where Joker paralyzes Barbara Gordon, strips her naked, and sends photos to her dad. Like, Jesus Christ, Batman comics.
Yeah, that one's pretty wild. Yeah.
So on The Simpsons, meanwhile, back at The Simpsons, the hobo tells the story of Paul Bunyan, and this one easily my favorite of these three. We're going to, stop me if you've heard it before, but it's a Simpsons anthology episode. We're going to get 3 stories.
Yeah.
I love that Paul Bunyan is just Homer, except giant. Just a big, stupid giant.
And perhaps dumber. Like,
yeah, he's played real dumb in this one. He's always...
me hungry. You get a lot of me hungry, which I enjoy.
God, of course you did.
That's a line that I say in my day-to-day life.
It sure is.
Ooh, me hungry.
And that's going to do it. Everybody follow us on Twitter and...
Baby hungry.
I'm gonna go.
Okay, that's the last one.
Make myself
got it out of my system.
Make myself a cocktail of whatever I find under the kitchen sink.
Ooh.
And call it a day. Wrap it up.
Varnish? I guess I can drink varnish.
Stove cleaner? Okay. I'm just gonna ignore all these Mr. Yuck stickers.
I put on myself like a month ago.
Just a mid-30s man putting Mr. Yuck stickers on cleaning products.
Yeah. Sometimes when I drink, I get curious.
Maybe. So Homer is giant doofus idiot Paul Bunyan. He's always stepping on shit, wrecking people's houses.
He's like Godzilla big.
Yes, yeah, he's kaiju big. We get a great fucking joke coming up regarding that. The townsfolk get together and they're like, we gotta fucking get rid of this guy. It's like we can't afford to feed him and clothe him, plus all the
everything.
Crushings. Yeah. So they're like, the plan is they're gonna get him drunk and then drag him out of town, and they give him this wagon full of beer and he chugs it and immediately fucking passes out, destroying the church that he's leaning against. And I forget which of the townspeople it is, but they're like, boy, 1 beer, that was crazy. And Mo comes by with this giant Rohypnol pill, just like, yeah, and one of these babies. Now, if you excuse me, I'm off to the barn dance. Like,
yeah,
okay.
Well, that's
all right.
troubling.
Weird
yeah.
date rapey Mo. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't be too surprised, but
I mean, it's not Mo, right? It's just Mo as this townsfolk person. But god damn. Homer wakes up like, I figured they would take him someplace strange and different far away, but he could be back in the town in like 3 steps. They drug him out a ways, but he takes the hint. They don't want me there anymore. And he he's walking all sad, and he carves a big stone ox out of the mountain, which comes to life overnight. That's his babe, the big blue ox. And then those two are just off having adventures.
It was made alive by the magical power of the Northern Lights.
Oh, yep, that's what it was.
Could you ever see the Northern Lights much growing up where you were at?
No, I don't think I've ever seen the Northern Lights.
Oh, no kidding. Funny how that, just being a little bit farther north than I am, though, we'd see him in the winter. We'd see him enough where it wasn't even that big of a deal. Which,
you were just like, yeah, whatever.
It's one of those things. I bet if you grow up next to a kick-ass waterfall, you're not impressed by it either. It's funny how that works. Like,
fuck this natural wonder. I don't give a fuck.
Or think like, some kid like you grew up 100 miles farther west, right by the Badlands, and like is baffled that people will drive from Florida to come see the Badlands,
Yeah, like people pulling off on the side of the road. Look at the cactuses. It's like, get the fuck out of the way. What's the matter with you? Yeah, it's a yucca plant. You act like you never seen a yucca plant before. Yeah. Oh, you haven't? Okay, that's fair.
Okay, well.
It's just you up north with the Northern Lights. Like, whatever, Game Boy.
Yeah.
Like,
I do remember one time being like just old enough to go to the bar. I was at college age. I was on my way home, probably drunk, Let's get that out of the way. And I stopped my car on my parents' long driveway, and like the sky, it looked like the sky like ripped in half. It was the only time I've ever seen them that vivid, like this giant green ribbon just ripped across the northern horizon. And I remember thinking like, holy shit, that is something. Because sometimes they're really faint, but that was just this huge ribbon that just formed right in front of my eyes. I was like, that's pretty cool.
The thing I always think of with any shit like that, be it the Northern Lights or be it eclipses or volcanoes or anything like any like big natural wonder like that, I immediately think like we, the modern people, know what causes that. But like, it's no wonder like Egyptians worshipped the sun. You know what I mean? Like, you think of historical simple civilizations being like, holy fuck, the northern fucking lights that the sky tears apart and God comes out. Like, you see how things like mythology are invented.
Think of what they thought of a solar eclipse back in the day.
It had to scare the shit out of them.
They had to think that everything was over.
This is it. The sun literally gets blotted out.
Yeah.
So Babe and Homer Bunyan are off just going throughout the countryside, and they show a few of because like Paul Bunyan is used as a mythology of here's how this stuff in America came to be. Like, oh, he made the Grand Canyon by dragging his axe along the ground and shit like that. Yeah. And I like that one of them is just this rich green forest, and he comes through and chops it all down, and Babe eats all the vegetation, and that's Death Valley now. Yeah. I like that one of the things he created was he just destroyed a nice thing. Yeah. And then we see him fighting Rodan in a modern city.
Yeah, so great.
And it real briefly cuts back to the train car where they're listening to the story, and Lisa's like, wait a minute, I don't think Paul Bunyan fought Rodan, which I thought was a great sentence.
Yep.
Back in the story, Homer, Paul Bunyan meets Marge and just like picks her up, kind of like King Kong, and like they're I guess dating or whatever. At one point they're sitting under the stars, and Homer's like, we've been together for a while now, when are we gonna, and Marge's response is, I just need a little more time to do some more yoga classes. Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah, that was good.
There's a meteor coming towards the town, and the townsfolk are all, what are we gonna do? And they decide, well, we have to ask Paul Bunyan for help, and Homer agrees to help him, and he's got a tree that he's swinging like a bat, and he turns to get a kiss from Marge for good luck, and the meteor lands in his ass crack, and his pants are burning, and he's, hot, and so he digs this burning meteorite out of his pants and throws it, and it lands in Chicago. And you hear the hobo be like, and that's what started the Great Chicago Fire of 1812 or whenever the fuck the Chicago Fire was. And that's the end of the Paul Bunyan segment. It cuts back to the train car, and I think it's Lisa is like, that story had everything. And Marge goes, townspeople? Like, they're kind of like rattling off, oh, it had this, it had that, and Marge's contribution is it had townspeople. That's the thing Marge is excited about.
She's excited, dude. It's so great.
Yeah, that was good. The next story is the story of Connie Appleseed, where we have a wagon train headed west, and Homer is singing a song about cleaning his gun with the safety off. We've already learned that Homer is not one for gun safety. Yeah. And he accidentally shoots and kills a buffalo, and then he shoots and kills another one. I did like the recurring gag of like, man, buffalo are really easy to kill.
Yep. Well, you think too how long they went without having any real predators, like besides man,
Like that, and that's what leads down the path of this episode. Lisa, of course, being Lisa, she's playing the part of Connie Appleseed, is like horrified that you're killing all the buffalo, and she thinks you should just eat apples instead. And they have the wagons all circled up with the campfire in the middle, and they're like, she's giving her speech about you should stop killing buffalo, and they all laugh at her, and it pans to Buffalo also in the circle laughing at her. And at one point, like, Bart bites down on a steak, and there's a clink, and he's like, "Oh, I bit into a bullet," and he spits it out, and you hear off screen a buffalo beller and collapse. Like, I love the recurring gag of, "Geez, buffalo are easy to kill."
Yeah.
Lisa's like, if you don't switch to apples, I'm gonna leave, and they leave her. They just immediately bail on her. She starts going off on her, Johnny Appleseed journey of planting apples throughout the countryside, and then we cut back to the wagon train where they've now killed all the buffalo and are starving and about to resort to cannibalism. They all tackle Homer because he's the fattest, so they decide he's the one they're going to eat.
And I like how it's Chief Wiggum delivering the news that Homer is the fattest. Like, huh.
Which I don't think he is. I think Wiggum is the
Wiggum
one.
is easily the fattest.
Oh, there's a great Wiggum fat joke coming up, I think, in the next episode. Maybe the one after that. So they're about to eat Homer, and Lisa shows up. She saves the day. She has apples, so now we don't have to eat Homer, which is good. And so she saves the day. That's kind of the end of that one.
Yeah. I do like that when all the buffalo are dead, I think it's Bart notices, oh no, we're saved. There's 2 left alive, and Homer immediately shoots the last 2. I got a hunch that the Old West was settled by like 85% Homer Simpsons.
Oh, for fucking sure.
Probably wasn't always. I mean, there were some enterprising souls that saw a chance to make money, but I think it was probably just a lot of the town dope or the town troublemaker was just kicked out of town, and they had a reputation. It's like, I'll just go out west.
Or just the loudest guy probably was the one who made all the rules on the wagon train.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like knowing what we know now about like buffalo populations, that seems to be how they did it. This seems to be fairly accurate.
Or I know a lot of it is they just would cut the tongues out because the tongues were a delicacy in Europe, and they'd ship the tongues overseas.
And just
or maybe
leave the carcasses,
Yeah, and just leave whole buffalo carcasses.
Hooray!
Hey, we did it.
America.
Good job.
Yeah, not a lot of level heads in those wagons being like, maybe we don't do this.
Conservation, string them up.
Oh God!
Someone's got like a chart of like sustainable hunting. What in the what? Where'd you get that overhead projector? Why do I know that's what that thing's called?
It's a witch. The last story of the 3 is Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, and I have to admit, God damn it, the stories of Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn do fucking nothing for me.
I've never read them.
Oh, really?
Yep, they one of those things that escaped. I never had to read them in school, never got around to it. I'm going to say, though, the one thing I love was when Nelson, who plays Huck, I believe, when Nelson is forced into that marriage, what he looks like in that old-timey tux when he's all sad with that popped collar is so great.
The starch collar. It's real fucking good. So Bart is Tom Sawyer, Nelson is Huck. Nelson, like, holds Lisa's hand for just a second, and Homer shows up like, how dare you? They're all talking fucking southern proper gentleman accents. Like, how dare you hold my daughter's hand? And I love Nelson's retort, which is, I was gonna let go.
Yeah.
Like, that was what Homer had a problem with. But yeah, he decides he touched his daughter's hand for long enough that they need to get married, so he's got a shotgun in Huckleberry Finn's back at the church. And Nelson pulls a fast one by replacing himself in the suit with a pig. And the boys...
So good.
And the boys escape out to a raft, and they're headed down the Mississippi, like Tom and Huck doing that shit. The townsfolk are all chasing them. The boys come across a steam. What's the big paddle boat? That's what it's called.
Yeah.
And we get Hibbert showing off some pipes on the paddle boat, singing "Old Man River."
Yeah.
There's a great moment where the boys are in like the gambling and saloon area on that paddle boat, where Nelson he doesn't want 3X whiskey. He wants 5X whiskey, and he takes a shot of it and goes, "That's not 5X whiskey. That bartender's a cheat." And that word like echoes throughout the room. And now everyone has a Derringer. Everybody pulls out their Derringers. and I like that. Immediately, as soon as it all pops off, they all start shooting. Derringers are ineffective completely.
Yeah. They won't even puncture the skin.
Yeah, it's all just pellets bouncing off of shit. Yeah. And I think it's Huck is like, the Derringer's a horrible gun or whatever. They poke fun at Derringers, which is a real specific thing to be making fun of.
Yeah.
The boys are thrown off the paddle boat. They sink to the bottom of the river where, like a Looney Tunes cartoon, all of the townsfolk are waiting for them with guns at the bottom of the river.
Yeah.
And then we cut to the church where there's 2 coffins. They're having the funeral for Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer, and it pans up, and the boys are laying there, like, on their stomachs with their chins on their hands, like, we really fooled them. But no... They're like, they go something along the lines of, "And now for the ceremonial lowering of the bodies." And it turns out those boys are dead, and they just lower them into the coffins.
What the hell? Yeah.
And they're like stiff. They kind of like knock against each other a couple times on their way down. Just super fucked up.
Yeah.
And then,
I had to rewind that. Like, did I catch that right? Like, are they dead?
Yep. Yep, they're dead. And that's the end of the last one. I skipped it, but at the beginning of that story, Lisa's like, "Huck Finn and Tom Sawyer isn't a tall tale," and the hobo's just like, "Listen, just let me get through this." And that's the end of their train trip to Delaware. The hobo convinces Homer to give him one last sponge bath before he leaves, and that's it.
The interaction between Homer and the hobo is like, that first sponge bath is so good, and then the second where he has to get back. I believe I told you 3 tall tales.
Yeah, and he's just holding the sponge real menacingly.
Homer just calmly climbs back in and closes the door. And they're talking to one another is so great. Like, they're back and forth. Like Homer compliments him, and that guy goes, the Homer goes, "I like when people say nice things about my body."
Yeah.
And Homer comments like, "That's good. It's good to have like a positive self-image." The back and forth is so weird. It's so great.
I think one of the last things they say is Homer's like, "Geez, do you know how much glass is in here?"
Between his toes.
Yeah.
So gross.
Yeah, I thought the Tom Sawyer one was the weakest of the bunch, but all in all, I really liked that episode.
That was those last few episodes were a nice end to season 12.
Season 12 as a whole was fucking good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, I've come to terms that we're not going to get the seasons 4 through 8 quality, but now that I'm past that and I'm not salty, I'm enjoying it.
Now that you're past your Mel Gibson episode.
Yeah, Oof, yeah. We haven't had one like that. That might still be my least favorite we've had so far.
I think that was like 2 seasons ago, and it still crosses your mind.
I think it was maybe the first episode of season 11, if I had to, 11 or 10 even.
That sounds right. It was one of the 2. It was definitely the first one, whatever season it was.
But we have now put a bow on season 12, and we're going to rip into season 13.
Hell yeah.
Here it is. I did a little bit of my quick Wikipedia research. I was kind of across my mind, like, I wonder how The Simpsons at this point are doing on the ratings. Right now for network TV, they're ranked 30th for the season 13. They ranked 30th overall, which, I don't know, there's probably 100 primetime shows, so it's solid.
Still
not
doing
great.
well, yeah.
But one thing to note, at this point, it is still the second most popular show on Fox. That just shows how far Fox is. Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh, okay.
Yep, Malcolm in the Middle. So, yeah, I was like, man, Fox is still lagging that far behind, huh? And, well, at this point, Marlon, there still wasn't Fox in your hometown or my hometown.
Nope.
I think it was 02 or 03 when that finally came around.
Yeah, and I don't think we ever really got it. We'd had satellite TV by now, so it was there. But over the air, maybe I think it was one of those things like it was there, but we couldn't get it with our antenna or something
had to have
like
a
that.
good antenna.
By the time it does come around, which, as you said, isn't yet. But
I think ABC is still like that in my hometown. That was always the one. If you didn't have a good antenna, you couldn't. I mean, the whole digital thing changed stuff,
sure,
but
yeah.
But I know back in the day, you had to have a good antenna to pull ABC.
Such a fucking crazy thing to think about.
Yeah, no kidding. We live on the moon.
Yeah.
And I wasn't looking for it, but I just read a synopsis on season 13, and it seems like a lot of critics are higher on season 13 as like they considered it an improvement from like the previous few seasons.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting to see if we feel the same way.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Much like any new season, I'm pretty looking forward to how this goes.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to see if we buy into that as well, like that. Oh yeah, this is a step above, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to watch the episodes and find out. And as for what the Simpsons were paired with on Sunday night, again, it's kind of boring now. We get King of the Hill, we get Futurama, we get Malcolm in the Middle. But this was the year they also gave a show called Greg the Bunny a chance. Greg the Bunny was a foul-mouthed puppet voiced by Seth Green.
Oh yeah, this would have been early Seth Green, like before Robot Chicken, before this would have been the first gamble somebody took on a Seth Green product, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, he'd done plenty of acting before this, but this was probably his first creative, his baby, like.
What would he have been most known for by this point? Is it like
Austin Powers?
Austin Powers, yeah.
Yeah. And also, he was a fairly prominent child actor too. But I mean, I don't think he ever starred in anything. But he was in a lot of shit as a kid.
Buffy, he was on Buffy for all those years.
I never watched Buffy, but you're right. Yeah, he's in Can't Hardly Wait, the teen comedy, which I'm sure I still own a copy of the soundtrack on CD somewhere.
Because you can't throw away a CD to save your life.
No, I cannot. So Greg the Bunny, like I remember catching a couple episodes of that and thought it had its moments. It had like Sarah Silverman was a part of it. Eugene Levy was a part of it. Like it had some talented people. Like, and I should have, I was on Wikipedia. Why didn't I look it up? I almost feel like that Greg the Bunny got its start almost like The Simpsons or South Park, where it was just this little short clip thing
on something else
that got shared and kind of got a life of its own. And there was enough heat behind it that they got their own sitcom, their own half-hour show. But unlike South Park and Simpsons, which have been on for decades, I think Greg the Bunny got like half of a season.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, they couldn't make it work.
That's probably one of those things that a lot of nerds were excited when it showed up on DVD during the TV on DVD gold rush of the early aughts.
God, yeah, man. To have a show that made it during that time, boy, you were making money off DVDs. My God.
Yeah.
That was a thing.
There was a time in my, mid 2000s to 2010-ish where There were a lot of TV series on my DVD shelf, for sure.
I just sold a bunch of mine a couple years ago. It's like, you're never watching these, dude. What do you got them for?
And if you wanna, they're online somewhere. Get rid of them.
Even though I do love physical media, but I don't know. It gets to be too much, especially when you're like a vagabond like me and you don't have a steady place to live.
Yeah,
can't be lugging that one basement to the next.
Oh, this box is getting full of centipedes.
Yeah, the centipede shit weighs it down.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I had them box trained, but they get a little rebellious.
Oh man, the ants got into my cardboard box sets of Nip Tuck, and those are done for, I guess.
Oh, gee whiz! Come on! I specifically said stay off the shelf. So this season would have started the fall of 2001. I don't know if you're a big news buff, Marlin, but there was a pretty big event that happened in the fall of 2001.
Yeah. There was one news story that stood above the rest around this time, I guess.
I'm not sure if this episode was pushed back because of this, but episode 1 didn't air till November 6th. I don't know if that was a 9/11 thing or if it was just they kind of had planned on doing that anyhow. But that's wild to have. Spoiler alert: episode 1 is Treehouse of Horror, and it didn't start till after Halloween.
I'm looking here. The last season 12, started November 1st with the Halloween episode.
Okay, so that's.
I feel like this isn't that out of the ordinary for them.
Yep.
Like we talked about before, they had kind of moved out of the way of football at this point. Because they used to start in like September, October, but then moved out of the way of football in the World Series. So
yeah, the World Series makes total sense. Yeah. So fall of 2001. What are you? Mid high school or late high school?
Yeah, I'm gonna say a sophomore in high school. I think that's right. I'm so fucking bad at math.
Are you class of 03?
Yeah, I'm class of 03.
You would have been a junior then.
Okay. Yes, this would have been the beginning of junior year. So, and where my birthday falls, I'd have been 16 at the time. Sweet 16.
There you go. Just blossoming as a young man.
Not really up to anything, just actively involved in the FFA chapter. And
that was the first thing I was hoping you would say. Draped in purple corduroy.
Yep. Still living at the farm at this point. Yeah, not a lot going on in my world around about this time.
I'm trying to think for myself. I had officially I had flunked out of college. I'd gotten that out of the way, and I was working in a factory that remanufactured brake shoes for semis.
Oh, fun.
And just,
Was that a sweet union gig?
Oh, was it not? It was.
Oh, never mind.
$8 an hour, and oof, there was no regulations. We breathed in a lot of poison at that job. So if you eventually see me on a mesothelioma ad, you will know what it was caused by.
Man, between that job and the gas leak, like you've had a lot of troubles with inhalants in your life.
Yeah, I sure have. That is very apt.
It's good you stayed indoors through COVID, I think.
Yeah. And the one beauty of that job though was you could literally call in sick every day and not get fired. So if you were a young party animal such as myself, you could call in any morning because my boss would answer the phone. Like, hey, how's it going? Like, hey, I can't make it in today. So, oh, you got the 3-2 flu, huh? Which is a reference only Minnesotans will understand.
The 3-2 flu. Is that a reference to 3-2 beer?
Yep. If you drink too much 3-2 beer, which through Minnesota's draconian liquor laws, there's a certain kind of beer that's very underpowered, that beer can only be served only some certain days and times you could only sell 3-2 beer, which makes no sense.
Which is it's just a beer with less alcohol in it, correct? Yeah.
So instead of drinking 15 Bud Lights, you just had to drink 20 to get sloppy.
Which I'm sure makes the hangovers that much worse because you're drinking that much extra not water and carbonation. Yeah. Good times. Good laws that make total sense. That's what we're about in the States.
So yeah, got to call in sick all the time. So the paychecks were quite pitiful, but just enough to scrape by. And that's what matters when you're 21, 22 years old. Episode 1 of season 13 is indeed Treehouse of Horror 12. And they sure are coming in hot with that intro. Holy.
Good intro. I liked this intro quite a bit.
We get thrown right into it's Smithers and Burns on the roof of Burns' mansion, and he's trying to get Smithers to hang up a little bat ornament on top of like the spire, which causes him to fall, and he gets shocked to shit, which then does he end up blowing up like the Burns family mausoleum?
Yep, the steeple collapses on the mausoleum, which shoots all the coffins out.
Yeah, so all those coffins of all these dead Burns ancestors in the like military garb. One's apparently a prostitute, I think is what they're going for. And meanwhile, the Simpson family's walking up to the Burns' house for Halloween, and they see this, they freak out, and they run, and they get cut into like quarters because they run through a sharp fence, apparently.
Yeah, they run through like the wrought iron gate, and it splits them like the long way, and they keep running off. Yeah, it was a good intro. I like. Yeah. Part of me still misses the old Tombstone intros, but this was a good one.
There was some good gags on those Tombstone intros, but yeah, this is super unique. I'll give them that.
I like that the Simpson family is dressed like the Flintstones.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Except like Lisa and Maggie are like the two-headed woman, I guess. Like
it's just Marge and Homer who are dressed like Fred and Wilma.
Fred and Wilma. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was a nice costume idea.
I like that Bart's looking in his candy bag and is like, oh man, Flanders gave us toothpaste. Because of course that's what Flanders would give out.
And since it's a Treehouse of Horror, we're going to get 3 little stories. The first of which is Hex in the City. Begins with a day trip through Ethnic Town, which
I laughed pretty hard at Ethnic Town.
Yeah. There's a guy selling babies on the street. This isn't a baby, this is a shaved dog.
Oh, I see you know your babies, and is still gonna try to sell him one. Yeah.
So they're bumbling around, and they spot a fortune teller, like a little fortune teller side business. Which am I crazy, Marlin, or did there used to be a fortune teller in Fargo on like just a nondescript strip mall on Main Avenue?
I mean, that for sure seems like the kind of venue a fortune teller would be in, but I've never seen one.
If nothing else, it was a tarot card place, but I thought it was a fortune teller too.
You ever been to one of those places? Like a fortune teller, tarot card, crystal ball type?
Yeah, I mean, I would just for the experience. I obviously don't believe in any of that hokum, but...
Yeah, same here. I definitely would for funsies, but definitely have never had the opportunity. I don't think I've ever driven by one and been like, oh, there's one of those. Mm-hmm. So... maybe I got to get out more. I always just think of Mallrats with the topless fortune teller scene is like, that's like my entire barometer for fortune tellers.
And there's been this comeback in the last decade or so of like young people being into astrology. Do any of them believe that horse shit, or is it just for funsies?
I for sure know people who are deep into astrology. And,
that is so
and then I know
baffling to me.
I know fewer, but I know a couple that are deep into crystals and shit. I feel like all of the fortune teller type hippies just are into crystals now.
Yeah. My God, yeah. That is so I'm a big fan of, I used to be a big fan of Coast to Coast AM, the late night show that just lets people call in. They have like, hey, we have this UFO expert. He's going to talk about UFO nonsense, and people would call in, or maybe it's a ghosts, or maybe it's this conspiracy theory. Nothing would bore me to tears than when some 60-something-year-old hippie that was into crystals would get on and blather about the healing power of crystals. It's like there is somebody right now that is fighting a poltergeist with their bare hands that's on hold so you can prattle on about crystals. Oh.
Yeah, you got to come down to Tucson. That's where the vortexes are. Oh, God. I'm going to jump into this river.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, believe what you want. You do you.
But it's tough for me to wrap my brain around the comeback of astrology. It's like, I thought we had that defeated. I thought we defeated it in the 90s. Because it was a thing in the 60s and 70s, and now it's back after like 50 fucking years.
Well, buddy,
Why?
as fucking dumb as people are, I hope you got your bootstraps on for the roaring return of polio, because everything's coming back around.
That's true. Yeah. I love how the militant right and the dipshit left can join arms together in their disbelief of fucking vaccines.
Yeah. Hooray.
Oh, God. Yeah,
we did it.
If it was just their kids that had their limbs disheveled or shriveling up, then it'd be okay. You get what you get, but like they can make other people sick too. So, hey, if you're listening and you're a dipshit, stop being a dipshit. Get your fucking kids vaccine. Jesus Christ, you fucking idiots.
Yeah, if everyone who didn't believe in vaccines just started believing in crystals, that would be a huge improvement.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah.
Because at least if you think this shiny rock is going to like make your Brussels sprouts taste better if you put it in your kitchen, you ain't fucking hurting anybody.
Yeah. As long as you get your goddamn shots. Get your shots.
What a fucking low bar we have for America. Get your shots.
Shit. They're begging you. They'll give you free shit just to get your shots, and half these fucking people can't bother to do it. Yeah. But that PSA is over. Back to The Simpsons.
Oh, yeah, The Simpsons.
So they go into the tarot card shop, and of course, things are going normal, but then Homer just starts becoming buffoon Homer, and he accidentally knocks over some candles and starts shit on fire, and the sprinklers go off. It is a whole calamity. And the gypsy is furious, and she realizes, oh, the cards told me that this giant buffoon would come and ruin my life. And she curses him, which Homer just laughs off right away. And until I think it's the next morning, Marge wakes up with a beard.
Mm-hmm. A luxurious, rich, full beard.
Just rich, beautiful beard. And Bart does something to anger Homer, so he does the classic Homer choking Bart, which Bart's neck is now 2 feet long.
It just stays long.
Yep. And Homer is just like, oh, that's just his neck always was like that. And then Lisa has horse legs on the bottom half.
It's so good. Just that quick shot of Lisa with horse legs.
Yep. And now Homer thinks, I got to find a way to break this curse. He goes into Moe's. And I think right away he's still kind of disbelieving that there's a curse at this point. And there's nothing follow me, no bad juju on my tail. That's when a goddamn helicopter falls through the roof of Moe's.
landing on Lenny and Carl.
Yep, and before they can die, they let Homer know that it'd be best he should get a leprechaun to kind of reverse the curse.
I like the scene of those two laying under the helicopter, and Lenny is like, I hope I die first, Carl. I don't think I could bear to watch you die.
Yeah. Their relationship has just grown in these later seasons.
It's so good. I love Lenny and Carl.
Yeah.
And then Moe, when Homer turns back, Moe is in the pickled egg jar.
Yeah. How that happens when no one knows. But now Homer's set on capturing a leprechaun, so him and Bart dig a hole out in the woods. And the plan is to dump Lucky Charms into the hole to catch a leprechaun, but he accidentally dumps Tricks, so a bunch of Tricks rabbits jump in there right away.
Yep.
Then he pours in some Lucky Charms. They come and check the trap. It's full of small mythical creatures. We have like Tinkerbell. We have fairies and sprites and all sorts of different things.
Pixies and wood nymphs and yeah.
and Bart is just casually flinging them over his shoulder. But they finally catch a leprechaun, and boy, howdy, that leprechaun is a prick.
It's so good. He's angry and so Irish.
So angry and he's full of energy, and he's just tiny, and he's all over everything. He bites.
Trying to fight everything. You can't understand what he's saying. His brogue is so fucking thick. Like, I really liked this little leprechaun.
And it's just raising hell in the house. And by now, Marge is completely covered in hair. Lisa's like 7/8 horse.
Yeah, Lisa's a centaur now.
Bart is dead. Bart can't live with the pain of that neck, so he just collapses into his breakfast cereal and dies.
Yep.
And he finally, Homer's like, why don't I just bring this thing over to the gypsy? Let the gypsy have to deal with it. So he brings it in a pet carrier, which is great.
And it's asleep.
Because Homer like boldly enters like, hey, are you ready for this? And then it's asleep.
He bangs on the top of the pet carrier and goes, get up, you drunk.
And it does. And it starts to raise hell in the house or in the gypsy's business, but then it sees the gypsy and they fall madly in love with each other. And off camera, we hear noises that would make one believe that they are very intrigued in one another.
Getting into it.
And Homer is repulsed and cut to them at an outdoor wedding. The gypsy and the leprechaun are getting married. And they cannot restrain themselves. They are all over each other at the wedding, too.
Yep, they're getting into it again, the leprechaun and the fortune teller.
Yeah. There's some good cuts of the crowd because there's all sorts of different kinds of creatures. And then Marge makes a joke. She's like, I enjoy a gypsy wedding because it's one of the few weddings I'm not the hairiest woman here. Like, it's like, oh,
it's
boy.
Like, whoa, okay. Yeah, that was a spicy one for sure.
Yeah. I like that. Oh, yeah, Bart's dead.
I don't you can tell that this is not you can tell that this is a 20-year-old episode because I don't think gypsy's an acceptable term anymore.
Yeah, I think they prefer Roma.
I think it's borderline at best.
Yeah. So the second story of the three is House of Wax, spelled WHACKS.
Get it?
Yeah. Oh, so clever.
I think I literally said that out loud when I was watching this and saw the title card.
And in the Wikipedia description of this episode, they say this is a mixed parody of 2001: A Space Odyssey, which I get, and also a movie called Demon Seed, which I have not seen. I know it's from the late 70s, but I've never seen it. But
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah. It starts with Marge's house is a mess. There's a robot salesperson comes and sells Marge on the idea of an automated house. And it is very futuristic. I thought there were some fun gags, like just like fun creative things. It just shows how the house works. Like it does everything for you. And I think the voice originally is boring and just monotone. And then Marge and Lisa are looking at the choices, one of which is Matthew Perry, who's very sarcastic. Then they notice there's a Pierce Brosnan, and they go with that. And it's very charming and British.
That's the one you want for sure.
Yep.
And I love that. I think it's Lisa points out like, "Oh, James Bond," and Marge lights up and goes, "George Lazenby?"
Yep, that's a good game.
And Lisa has to be like, "No, Pierce Brosnan." It's so funny to me that when Marge thinks James Bond, she thinks George Lazenby, the guy who did One.
And so things are fairly normal, and the robot is just a boon. one in the household that does everything for them and refills Homer's beer, does all sorts of stuff. But then when Marge is bathing and like she's talking to the robot, because the robot's it's everywhere. The house is sentient, and it's like increasing like the bubbles and the heat of the water. The robot gets a little smitten on Marge, and
it's a real horny house. Like
it's a very horny house. Yes.
Like as she's in the bathtub, it's like murmuring to itself, and it's all Pierce Brosnan's voice, which makes it all the better. He's real hot and bothered by bathtub Marge.
And at some point, like the robot kind of just walks around the issue and just talks to Homer about Marge. And Homer's like, yeah, she's pretty awesome. We're like, yeah, I got her married to me, so she's trapped here forever.
Unless I die, then she would be free for any man or machine. Like, really giving it all away.
He's just casually saying this while watching TV.
Yeah.
So it isn't too much longer. The robot caves in the back of Homer's skull.
By running him through the fucking garbage disposal in the middle of the dinner table.
Yep. So obviously the shit has gone haywire in the new automated Simpson household. So the rest of the family's trying to escape from the robot. And things are looking dire, but it turns out Homer didn't die. He's just gravely injured.
The whole back of his head is missing and his brain is poking out.
So they are in a mad scramble to escape the house. They get down in the basement where they're going to try to destroy like the mainframe, like the house's brain. And Homer has an axe and he starts destroying what he thinks is the brain. It turns out it's the water softener.
I liked that.
And Lisa's the one that points at Homer's like, hey, cut me some slack. Like, I have a serious brain injury right now. And he cracks open the case and he starts pulling out all the all the computer programs out of it. And eventually he takes out the voice modulator. So it just becomes an angry, drunk American. And then it cuts to the next day and Marge and Lisa are hauling it out to the curb. And she's like, it's just a waste to have this kind of technology just go into the trash. We should find someone who can enjoy it. Cut to, and I thought this was maybe the funniest part of this.
God,
that robot is now in the house with Patty and Selma, and Patty is just blathering on about some person she works with. And the robot is struggling to stay polite.
And it's like reaching up and feels this empty spot on the top of it. And Selma's like, you looking for this? And it's the self-destruct button.
Yeah.
And Patty's just blathering away, and the robot like picks a thing up off the desk and starts hitting itself
like
with
a lamp. Just caving its own head in with a lamp.
The robot wants to die so bad.
Yep.
That was maybe my favorite part of the whole episode. Not just that section, but the whole episode.
And here is probably my least favorite of the three is Whiz Kids. As just the Simpsons getting on the Harry Potter train, and now Bart and Lisa are young wizards. And oh man, it didn't do a whole lot for me. Just some simple gags like milk going like, hey, Lisa can make milk appear out of nowhere. And they cut into the school, and they're supposed to be able to do a I'm trying to think of the assignment was to have a magic spell that turns a frog into like a charming British prince.
Yeah.
And Milhouse kind of gets it, but his prince is like a overweight 40-something like British drunk.
Just like, hey, toots, come over here, like a real like brash, boorish asshole.
And Lisa, of course, makes this dashing prince. And then Bart, who didn't study at all, he turns his toad into this like half human, half toad whose life is just pure agony. Like it can't quit vomiting. It just keeps asking to be killed. I think at one point it says every waking moment is agony.
Yeah, please kill me. Yeah.
And they don't. They just let it sit on the desk. It's like somebody have a heart and kill that thing.
Yeah.
And then Bart kind of gets salty that Lisa's getting all the credit for being so good at magic and Bart's not. And Lord Montemort, who is Mr. Burns, he's like the main villain. I don't know I'm sure, is it Voldemort or whatever the bad guy is in Harry Potter?
I think that's the word. I think we've discussed before. I don't know dick about Harry Potter.
Yep.
I've never read the books, never seen the movies. I know that, like, the extent of my knowledge of Harry Potter is I think he has glasses, is about as far as it goes.
I did like how the Burns bad guy character does have a henchman, which is just Smithers as Slithers. He's just this giant snake. And so what they do is they talk Bart into helping them pull a trick on Lisa. And it turns out Voldemort like steals the kid's magic power through this device that like sucks on their head. And there is a good gag where he's like, we must capture Lisa because I'm getting nothing from this one. And it shows the sucking devices on Ralphie's head. And he just got this big grin. He's like, dying is fun.
Oh, I love Ralphie so much.
Yeah.
This is Ralphie's year, by the way, on the season 13 DVD box set, because they put a different character on it. Yep, Ralphie's on the cover.
This is it,
season 13. This is the year of the Ralph.
Yeah. I wish that was part of the Chinese New Year symbols.
Yeah, rat, ox, dragon, Ralphie.
So the plan is, and we kind of see it turn out here, there's going to be like a school talent show where everyone does something to like show off their magic skills. We get Milhouse doing an invisibility routine, but he just makes himself naked and he runs off the stage in shame. And Smithers is like, Skinner's like, we don't need to see that. He throws some like amnesia dust in the crowd and everyone just politely claps because they don't remember witnessing that. And Lisa, because she's, again, a go-getter and the overachiever, she's going to make a giant-ass dragon levitate or disappear. And so she's very confident. The bullies are the ones in charge of opening the gate for the dragon. And Lisa, she's confident she's about to do her magic spell, but turns out it doesn't work because her wand has been replaced with a Twizzler that Bart had switched it out with, like a black Twizzler with a white tip, and he's laughing it up. And then all of a sudden, the dragon morphs into Mr. Burns' bad guy character, and he's gigantic. And Lisa is powerless, and he grabs her and hooks the magic sucking device to her head. And she's like, Bart, you're the only one that can save me. And Bart tries to do it because he's holding the wand. He tries to do a magic trick. He doesn't know what he's fucking doing. So he just runs up and stabs Burns in the shin, which is his weak spot.
And kills him. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, that's like, I did find it creepy and kind of funny when like a very heartbroken Smithers rise, it's like, oh, I can't believe you're dead, and he just starts eating him like a python would do.
Yeah, just swallowing him whole, stopping to cry every so often.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, that one didn't do much for me at all.
Not at all. I wonder if people who know anything about, like, do people who like Harry Potter like this bit? Because I don't. I gotta admit, I was pretty checked out through most of it.
Yep. The fake human frog or the human frog hybrid and the Slithers swallowing, that was like the only thing that even got a slight chuckle out of me.
Yeah. That snake thing was repulsive.
Yeah.
All in all, not one of my favorite Treehouses.
No.
Maybe someday at the end of all this we'll rank the Treehouses, but this one in the bottom half for sure. Although I did like the middle one because, like, I really like Pierce Brosnan. I like, all that Machine Gone Wrong, HAL 2001 shit I enjoy. And, like, all the art had a real Futurama vibe, which I like Futurama. So
Yeah, good call. It did. And I do think, because I was like, oh man, I hope the season doesn't start bad. I think the next episode was fine. I enjoyed a lot of that one.
I was pretty into the next episode, which is episode 2, The Parent Rap. Right off the bat, we get a good chalkboard gag, which we haven't gotten in a while. And
Nobody reads these anymore.
Yeah, that was the chalkboard gag.
The good people at America's Barley Basket do, Bart.
Yeah,
so
that was my thought, too.
eyes.
I was like, I do. Just in case. But they haven't been good for a long time, and that one was the first funny one in a while.
Yeah, they have been duds lately.
Homer is driving Milhouse and Bart to school because they missed the bus. Homer enjoying Bill and Marty on KBBL.
Who we actually get to see, perhaps for the first time.
We've seen them before.
Have we early on? It's
been like, I'm going to say we've probably only seen them maybe 3 times before. That's pretty rare that they show up, but we have seen them. Like, I think they might have been judges at that beer fest competition that Mo wins to get his face on the calendar. Like, I think they might have been in that episode. I think they showed up at a random, come on out to this Irish bar, and then Homer goes there and comes home plastered. Like, we've seen them before, but it's pretty
good
fleeting.
Call. Very good call. You're right. Yep. Now that you say that rings true.
It's awfully seldom. They're doing a prize giveaway where if the station's prize mobile is out, and if they see your penguin on your antenna, they'll give you $40. And Homer sees the prize wagon go by and immediately throws the children out.
What makes it so great, this just shows how the littlest things can make such a big difference in comedy, that the prize is $40.
Yep.
That he will go to extreme lengths to win $40. Did you hear that, Pengy? And he's poking that penguin.
He will abandon his child and someone else's
in the middle of downtown to chase after the party patrol.
Yep, so he can get $40.
Yeah, so good.
The kids wander up to a diner. We get a fantastic visual joke of Chief Wiggum sitting in the diner, and he sticks a straw into a jelly donut. And
so sick.
He sucks all the jelly out, and the visual gag of him plumping up while the donut shrivels, like it happens at the same time, was real funny.
And then there's the classic diner waitress who can't, but in this case she can't hear anything. It's just like, huh?
Nothing. Could you fill this back up with jelly? She's got a caulking gun full of jelly.
Which we've discussed before, but the filling in a donut or a pastry is my least favorite thing. Like, I prefer a Long John or a donut with no filling.
And like, I do too, but I will also fuck up a donut with filling in it without putting up a fight at all.
Yeah. It's like, I will bite a tip in the end of it and suck it out, which does not sound good. Now that I hear it out loud, like
no,
I will suck the guts of it out, and then I will enjoy the gutless donut.
Say it slower.
Yeah. Oh, you can. This will be saved on audio for the rest of time. So
there's another round of Patreon content. You filleting a donut.
Just the audio sound of that.
Oh God. Yeah.
Someone out there wants to hear it.
Do they?
Dear listener.
So Wiggum's in the diner. The kids are fascinated by his cop car, and they get in it and they're fiddling around. There's a good spicy police joke where they're like, "What's this?" It's the Miranda Rights teleprompter, and they hit the go button, and it says, "You have the right to remain silent," and then in parentheses underneath it, "punch in belly."
Yeah.
Oh, cops have been bad for a while now, actually.
Yeah. We just have cameras now. Yeah.
Which doesn't stop them at all.
Yeah. We just catch it more often now.
Yeah. Now we just get to see it and be sad. The boys are attacked by Mr. Sniffy, who is the canine unit that is in the car. And they, in the process of tussling, they knock it into neutral and end up fucking cruising through shit and crash into... What is it? They crash through a promising young athletes picnic.
Yep.
Which I thought the joke was going to be they run over a bunch of promising young athletes and ruin their athletic futures, which maybe my mind works a little differently. But yeah, they just crash through and run into something and they're taken away.
I think there's a scene where like they drive through a table full of awards for promising young athletes, and then when the awards fly, one lands in the lap of like a wino who's like, finally.
Oh, yeah. The hobo's like, finally, some recognition.
Yeah.
So the boys go to court. Milhouse, his dad, pleads his case.
He goes, my son, he's weak, morally and in the upper body. And Milhouse meekly rises his arms up too. So great.
God damn it. I love Milhouse. He's so good. It's Judge Snyder who's presiding over the boys' cases, and he's apparently known for being soft on the boys. Like a very boys will be boys, and let's...
The whole family just assumes this is going to be over in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, they're all treating it as like, oh, this is just a thing we get to do today is go to court. Like, I think Marge even says this is one of the last things we still do as a family, and Lisa greets one of the guards who's there because they know each other from how often Bart is in court. Snyder, apparently known for being kind of soft, he lets Milhouse off, and then he's, hears out Bart's case. Bart makes sure to put on a crucifix and really flaunt it at Judge Snyder. And just as Judge Snyder is about to let Bart go, there's like a ding, and he's on vacation. His vacation starts right now, and he takes off and is replaced by Judge Constance Harm, who's a real, hard-ass judge.
In the Judge Judy mold.
Yeah, very Judge Judy-like. Doesn't take any nonsense, has a few quips. Played by, I can never pronounce her last name, but Jane Maxmarek, the mom from Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh, good catch. I didn't even put that together.
Yeah, that's her. She orders Bart and Homer to be tethered together. She, her judgments seem to be based in punish the parents, not the children, for bad parenting, making bad children. And so Bart and Homer get tied together. That's the way this episode goes. Which frankly provides plenty of sight gags when they're like, oh, race you to the kitchen, and they run off and just clothesline the shit out of Lisa on the way by is pretty funny.
And I like how wholesome it starts off too.
Yeah, they're pretty, they're both kind of into it. This will be good. Homer is disruptive in class. First he's being Homer, frankly, and then Krabappel's like, why don't you go back to sleep? Implying that he was asleep earlier, and this is how we're going to handle Homer, is just have him have nap time. And then he gets fucking night terrors and is shrieking in his sleep, talking about...
So ridiculous.
What is it? Anacondas or whatever he's afraid of.
Cobras. Cobras is what it is.
That's the one. And then we get Bart has a baseball game and has to round the bases dragging his dad because Homer can't run very far and passes out. We get Homer who... What is he? Oh, they catch a lamppost on the tether between them and knock each other's heads together. And Homer is just like, ow, my head, I need a beer. And they're right in front of Moe's. He goes into Moe's and goes, Moe, I hit my head. And Moe pours him a beer. One beer. This is a thing that happens.
Happened before.
Yeah, this just comes up every so often. Homer bonked his head, so he needs a drink.
Yeah.
Moe won't allow Bart to be there because you can't have kids in the bar. And so we get Homer on a stool on the inside with the tether shut in the door with Bart waiting outside. Waiting outside for your dad while he's in the bar is a joke that hits too close to home.
Yeah. Sitting in the pickup.
Yeah, sitting in the pickup reading a book. Yeah. Occasionally he'll bring you some M&Ms.
Yeah. One of those bar candy staples.
Yeah.
a can of Pepsi.
Yeah, there's a Mountain Dew and some peanut M&Ms. It's going to be a while yet. Yeah, I know.
Diet 7-Up for all the now sober diabetics that still hang out in the bar. And maybe you're getting to this right now too, but the whole thing with Moe robbing Homer for his pants. There's so many, what? He's like, those pants cost $600? It's like, why? Then that's what makes Moe pull that shotgun out. He's like, what? He's like, his line is good. Yeah, I rob now. Like, yep, just a matter of fact, he says that. Like,
that line fucked me up pretty bad. I was laughing real hard.
Just how yeah, I rob now. Like,
he pulls out that shotgun. What? Really? Yeah, I robbed now.
Yeah, like, I want to know about those pants. Why are those pants so special?
Why are Homer's pants? Well, he says they're Italian, so that means they're $600, I guess.
There you go. That answers that. Yeah.
But yeah, I also wrote down in quotations, yeah, I rob now.
Yeah, God, that was good. Yeah.
Then we cut to the Simpson bedroom, where Homer is pushing weirdly hard to fuck in front of Bart.
Yeah.
Like, he's really pushing for it. Like, no, come on, what's the big deal? Like,
and that cable, their tether is like 5 feet.
Yeah.
So, like,
oof. Yep, that was an uncomfortable spot. But the Bart and Homer are fighting. Marge can't take anymore. She goes, I'm sleeping in the bathtub, which I thought was funny. Thought of you as a bathtub sleeper.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm sure, how you choose to identify.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? You go down that road, you got to accept the consequences.
Yeah, you can't unring that bell. You can't unsleep in that bathtub. Marge snaps, comes out of the bathroom brandishing a butcher knife. Not a clue why there's a butcher knife in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And she's had enough, and she cuts the tether, and immediately Judge Harm is in the tether talking to Homer through the magic of fiber optics. And this is not how fiber optics work. Not at all. It's not a video feed that you can watch on the cut end of the cable.
That's some amazing technology, if so.
Yeah, but she's like, you parents need to come in here. They go into the court, and they're getting the rundown from the judge in the courtroom. Oh. And she's like, just admit that you're bad parents, and I'll go easy on you. And Marge won't do it. Marge won't budge at all. And it cuts to them just walking out of the courtroom, each wearing a stock, and Marge goes, she's such a butthole. Yep. Holy shit, did I laugh at that.
And when they're first in this court scene, when Homer has a chance to plead his case, when he just casually goes, so I was pressuring my wife to make love to me in front of my son. Judge, you're going to love this. And she just immediately cuts him off. God damn it, I died.
Oh,
just
God.
The delivery of that line.
Yeah.
So I was pressuring my wife to make love to me in front of my son. Judge, you're going to love this. Or I was like, you're going to get such a laugh, such a kick out of this.
Yeah, he thinks that she's really going to like this. Yeah.
Yep. She does not.
Marge's delivery on she's such a
Oh,
butthole.
God, yeah. I had to rewind that to hear if I heard it right.
Yeah, because that seems like spicy language for Marge.
Yeah.
So now the Simpson parents are trying to function while being in the stocks, like the classic, like head and hands through the stocks. We cut to Bart, who's watching wrestling, and I like that it's a wrestling wedding that has gone bad, because wrestling weddings go badly.
Yeah.
There's never been a we're going to get married in the middle of the ring that's gone according to plan. Like, so much so that that's a fucking cliche. Like, that's a thing you joke about in wrestling.
Yeah.
The parents are struggling with these stocks and need to get out of them. They sneak next door and use Ned's table saw to get Marge's off, and then Homer uses the candle that Ned is holding to get his stock off. And they're going to go to the judge's house for revenge. They find out she lives on a houseboat, which I can't imagine as somebody who doesn't like being on boats and who can't swim.
Like, I don't see you're not going to embrace that lifestyle ever.
No, I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to be Keanu in The Replacements anytime soon. Like, I can't imagine living on a fucking boat.
See, I think I could get into that. I like that idea.
Yeah, I'll bet you could.
I'm a water boy.
That's what I'm always saying about you.
Yeah. I just love splashing, Marlin, and I'm not going to apologize for it.
And you shouldn't have to.
Thank
Nobody's
you.
asking you to, buddy.
Yeah. Okay, I just want to get that out there.
You go get him, slugger. Just start talking to you like a stepdad. Like, boy.
Well done.
Get out there, tiger. I like that their revenge on the judge is to hang a banner that says "Big Meanie" above her door.
That was funny.
That was so good.
Oh, on the topic of banners, I love this. Is flashing back to the Praiseland episode. The banner they hang when they close down Praiseland is closed forever. Just had to put that forever on there just to make the finality of it.
Yeah, just to let you know.
I like the idea of driving by a Dairy Queen that says closed forever.
Not out of business, not just closed.
Yeah, what happened in that Dairy Queen?
Is there a murder? Somebody
Did the
didn't
Blizzard
get their
machine get a taste for human flesh?
Someone didn't get their peanut butter parfait in time and fucking killed 8 people in this Dairy Queen?
Some say that Dairy Queen's got a history.
Sometimes dairy's better.
Yeah. Sometimes Sonic's better.
So somebody ordered a regular cone but got a dipped one and just fucking lost it. Just rage blackout and murdered all these people.
I said butterscotch.
I should have just got a dilly bar instead. You're right. This is kind of on me, Your Honor. I've had enough nice chef knives ruined by these hard ass cakes, and I just had to come in there and lay waste to this Dairy Queen.
Oh man, when you get an ice cream cake, that thing is got the consistency of cast iron. You so want a slice, but there's nothing. You would have to get some kind of pneumatic press to get the strength to push a knife through that ice cream.
I personally have broken 2 kitchen knives trying to cut a Dairy Queen ice cream cake.
No kidding. Now,
if you want to say that maybe I'm not using the best quality kitchenware, I would say you're right. But at the same time,
one could say that.
You break 2 fucking knives with ice cream cakes.
Man, a Dairy Queen ice cream cake is a treat. Holy shit, that's tasty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You put a gun to my head, I would rather have a piece of cake with some ice cream than a Dairy Queen ice cream cake, but I'm sure as shit ain't gonna turn it away.
The only regular cake I'd maybe put on par is like a good slice of like good kick-ass wedding cake. Because most of the cake I eat is just something like a Betty Crocker mix off the, you buy off the shelf at a grocery store for $2, which is still a tasty treat. But I don't think that quite compares with an ice cream cake, but maybe a higher end professionally made slice of cake is good.
Yeah, I do like an ice cream cake though.
I think we have went over many times in this podcast. I am very pro cake. I wouldn't say anti pie, but I definitely have more cake than pie.
Yeah, you're in that camp, as am I. I feel I like pie more than you do, but I still would take cake over pie for sure.
We're team cake.
Just to let you know where we stand on.
Yeah, I know
cake.
people have been wondering. We get endless emails.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people are always asking us in the street
for our dessert hot takes.
Yeah. So they hang their big meanie banner. A seal hops up and blows their cover. The judge is looking for them. They're hiding behind a barrel down the pier a little ways. And Marge is like, oh, what are we going to do? And it pans over, and Homer has his eyes clenched shut real tight, holding a cinder block over his head, and says, oh, Lord, guide this cinder block. And hucks the cinder block at the judge. which she ducks, and it smashes into the side of her houseboat and sinks the fucking thing.
Yeah.
This is why you don't live on a houseboat, Nathan. Look how easily they sink.
Yeah, this is true. This was very sobering to me.
Yeah, I hope you rethought your houseboat living aspirations.
I went and looked at the 1/3 built houseboat in my backyard and thought, maybe this isn't the way.
I'm going to need to reinforce this a little, for cinder blocks.
Yeah.
So now they're back in court. She's getting ready to throw the book at these two, and Bart stands up and gives like an impassioned speech about I'm a bad kid, but if I turn out to be even a half decent adult, it's just because my parents are so great. So if you're gonna punish somebody, punish me. And she's like, okay, and is about to send him to, I think, 5 years. Yeah, 5 years in juvie. And just as she's about to make it official, Judge Snyder shows back up with his fishing hat on, just like, well, my vacation's over, and takes the gavel from her and runs her out of there, and then sits down and is like, well, boys will be boys, and lets Bart go.
Yeah, that was a good end.
Yeah. And then they're driving away from the courthouse, and Marge is like, we have to make a promise. Let's make a vow to never break the law again for the rest of the year. I like that she put a cap on it. And then
she knew the family's limitations. She couldn't say forever.
And then Homer immediately runs over Hans Moleman with his car.
Yeah. They parked on top of him.
At a red light, yeah.
He's waiting for the red light to be over. So
please get off of me. Yeah. That was a good episode. If this is how 13 is going to go, it's off to a good start. Yeah,
which... If you notice, too, Hans Moleman just gets up and walks it off.
Yeah, he just gets up and finishes crossing the street. Yeah. Hans Moleman is unkillable. Hans Moleman is immortal.
Yeah. I thought that was nicely done. Yeah.
That's going to be some season 25 reveal that Hans Moleman is inhabited by a mummy's spirit that keeps him alive forever.
He's a vampire.
Yes, a vampire.
A very lethargic vampire.
Good batch.
Yeah, damn right. Very enjoyable.
Pretty into it. So, looking forward to some more of that.
As am I. We're into season 13. Next week it'll be 3 through 8. No, 3 through 7. Sometimes the old math fails me.
It always looks like 4, but it's 5. Yeah, 3 through 7.
Mathematical illusion.
There's still basketball happening. We watched a very spicy basketball game after telling jokes last night.
Did we ever?
We caught the last bit of that game.
Milwaukee Bucks tripping over their dick the whole playoffs, somehow stumble into the conference finals. I hope they can pull it off. Tonight is Sixers Hawks game 7, so the shooty hoops. Today was game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. I have no clue how it went yet.
I can tell you. I'm looking at it right now.
Ooh, go Suns.
Yeah, Suns won game 1, so.
Hey, there you go. Well done, Phoenix.
I am super pulling for the Hawks tonight. I'll be watching that game. As we're recording this, that starts in about an hour and a half, so got that to look forward to. You, dear listener, will know the result of that game by the time this is out. So
This is old news to you.
You're in the future.
Oh, wow. Think of that. The things you know that we're not aware of yet.
The things you know 2 days from now.
Yeah, everything could be different.
Yeah. So 3 through 7 is the assignment, I guess you would call it, for next week. 3 through 7 of season 13. We're into it. We're off and running. We're back telling jokes. We're watching basketball. Life is finding a way.
It is. It is.
So
sometimes even the dankest basements.
Yeah, please take care of your ant problem, Nathan. I don't need you getting some manner of ant-based illness.
I gotta wait for it to quit raining because I don't know much, but I do know if you want to spray for bugs, it's got to be dry.
Okay.
You gotta have it. Got to do the ring around the house. You go around the base of the house, and that should solve things. If my the courses I took in junior pest control as a lad, the one merit badge I got.
I'm gonna go throw away all my dryer sheets because apparently it can kill you. That story's gonna ring through my head for a while now.
I am shocked that hadn't came up on the podcast yet.
Yeah, Now every time I'm even slightly dizzy or have a slight headache, I'm going to be like, this is it. I got to open these windows.
Yeah, kicking the windows out of your apartment. This place is a ticking time bomb. Here's someone else's apartment.
Everyone enjoy your weeks. We will catch you next time around. Find us on the internet, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at BarleyBasketUSA. BarleyBasketUSA@gmail.com is the email address. Tell all your friends. Columbus still just fucking tearing it up. We are just the kings of Columbus, Ohio. So
you angels, you goddamn angels, we love you.
Keep them coming. Washington, D.C. and Austin, Texas also getting quite a bit of traction this past couple of weeks. So
there we go.
We're
Thank
doing
you
it.
Both. Shout out to my buddy Ken who lives in Austin. I'm sure you're helping those numbers.
Hell yeah. Doing the Lord's work out there.
Well,
everyone enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.